Chapter 1. A Spark in the Village. In a small village called Smiljan, in the countryside of Serbia, a boy was born. It was the year 1856, on a stormy summer night. Rain poured down, and the sky flashed with lightning. The wind howled through the trees, shaking their branches. The villagers said it was a bad omen. But one midwife disagreed. She looked at the baby boy in his mother's arms and said, "This child will be a child of light." The boy's name was Nikola Tesla. Nikola's father, Milutin, was a priest. He was strict and serious, but he loved books and learning. Nikola's mother, Juka, had never gone to school, yet she was incredibly clever. She invented tools to help around the house. She could remember long poems after hearing them just once. Nikola admired her deeply. "My mother," he would later say, "was the source of all my creativity." From the very beginning, Nikola was different. He was curious about everything. As a toddler, he would crawl toward the fire just to see how it worked. His mother had to pull him back again and again. "Be careful, Nikola," she'd say, her voice full of love and worry. But Nikola's curiosity only grew stronger. When he was 5, he built his first invention. He tied a stick to the wings of a beetle, hoping it would fly like a tiny machine. He watched it for hours, amazed. It didn't work the way he hoped, but Nikola didn't give up. He kept asking questions. How did birds fly? How did water flow? How did the stars shine? One day, Nikola saw something that changed his life forever. He was walking with his friends near a small stream. The water sparkled in the sunlight, rushing over rocks. The boys decided to make a water wheel. They took pieces of wood and built a simple wheel. They placed it in the stream and watched as the water pushed it around and around. Nikola stared at the wheel, fascinated. "The water is moving it," he said. "But we're not touching it." His friends shrugged and ran off to play. But Nikola stayed behind, staring at the wheel. His mind was racing. What if I could make other things move like this, without touching them? Nikola's mind was full of ideas, but it wasn't always easy being so different. He struggled in school. Not because he wasn't smart, but because he learned in a strange way. Nikola didn't need to write things down. He could picture them in his head, as clearly as if they were real. When his teacher gave him math problems, Nikola solved them without using paper. "You're cheating," the teacher said one day, slamming a hand on Nikola's desk. "I'm not," Nikola protested, his face turning red. "I can see the answers in my head." The teacher didn't believe him. Nikola felt embarrassed, but he also felt proud. He knew he had a gift, even if others didn't understand it. At home, Nikola loved to read. His father's shelves were full of books about history, science, and philosophy. But it was his mother who truly inspired him. She taught him how to make tools from simple materials. Together, they repaired household items and built new ones. One evening, while they were working, Juka noticed her son staring at a candle's flame. "What are you thinking about, Nikola?" she asked gently. "Why does the flame dance like that?" he replied. "What makes it move?" His mother smiled. "That is a good question, my son. Keep asking good questions." But Nicola's curiosity sometimes caused trouble. One day he decided to test a theory. He believed he could fly. He built a small parachute from an umbrella and climbed onto the roof of the family barn. His heart raced as he stood on the edge. He looked down at the ground. It was so far away. But he didn't feel scared. He felt excited. "Here I go!" he shouted, and he jumped. For a moment it worked. The umbrella caught the air, and Nicola felt like a bird. But then, snap! The umbrella broke, and Nicola fell to the ground with a thud. His family rushed outside. His mother knelt beside him, checking for injuries. "Nicola, what were you thinking?" "I wanted to fly," he said, tears in his eyes. "I almost did." His mother sighed and hugged him tightly. "You have a brave heart, my son, but you must be careful. The world is full of dangers and wonders." Nicola also had vivid dreams. They felt so real that he sometimes couldn't tell if he was awake or asleep. In one dream, he saw bright lights dancing across the sky. In another, he imagined machines that could move on their own. When he woke up, these dreams stayed with him. He began to wonder, could he make the dreams real? Could he bring light to the world? As Nicola grew older, his family faced many challenges. Life in the village was hard. They didn't have much money, and there were no modern comforts. But Nicola's parents worked hard to give their children a good life. One winter, a terrible illness swept through the village. Nicola's brother, Dane, fell sick. He was Nicola's best friend, his hero. Dane was strong and kind, and everyone loved him. Despite the family's prayers, Dane didn't recover. His death left a deep scar on Nicola's heart. He began to feel alone, even in a house full of people. But his brother's memory gave him strength. "I will make him proud," Nicola promised himself. "I will do something great." Years passed, and Nicola's mind continued to grow. He became fascinated by the power of nature. He watched lightning storms with wide eyes, amazed by their energy. One stormy night, Nicola asked his father, "What is lightning?" His father smiled. "It is God's light," he said. But Nicola wasn't satisfied with that answer. He wanted to know more. Where did it come from? Why did it flash? Could people use its power? Even as a young boy, Nicola dreamed of a bigger world. He wanted to leave the village and explore places he had only read about in books. "I will become an inventor," he told his mother one day. She nodded, her eyes full of love. "Then you must work hard, Nicola, and never stop dreaming." Nikola Tesla's childhood was full of questions, dreams, and challenges. He was a boy who saw the world differently, a boy who believed in the impossible. What lay ahead for him? Would he change the world as he hoped? Only time would tell. Chapter 2. A Boy and the Lightning. The sky was dark. Heavy clouds hung low, covering the village of Smiljan. Nikola Tesla, now a curious young boy, stood at the window of his family's house. Rain was falling in sheets, hitting the ground like tiny drums. The wind howled, bending the trees. But Nikola's eyes were fixed on something else, the flashes of light in the sky. Boom! A loud crack of thunder shook the house. His younger sisters screamed and ran to their mother, hiding their faces. But Nikola didn't move. He leaned closer to the window, staring out at the storm. What is this power? He whispered to himself. Nikola loved storms. While other children ran to hide under blankets, he stayed outside as long as he could. He would watch the lightning bolts shoot across the sky like fiery snakes. The sound of thunder excited him. It wasn't fear he felt. It was wonder. On this stormy evening, Nikola couldn't take his eyes off the flashes of light. They lit up the sky, turning night into day for a split second. He wanted to understand what they were. Where did they come from? How could something so beautiful also be so dangerous? Nikola, come away from the window, his mother called. But he didn't listen. The storm was calling to him. It seemed alive, full of secrets waiting to be discovered. Another flash lit up the sky, followed by a crack of thunder so loud it made the walls shake. Nikola's heart raced. He opened the window slightly, letting in the smell of rain and the sharp electric scent of the storm. He felt a chill run down his spine. "Lightning," he whispered. "What are you?" The next morning, Nikola had questions. 100 questions. At breakfast, he turned to his father. "Papa, what makes lightning?" His father put down his coffee and smiled. "Lightning is a gift from God, Nikola," he said. "It is His way of showing us His power." Nikola frowned. That answer wasn't enough for him. He wanted to know more. He wanted facts, not stories. "But how does it work?" he asked again. "What makes it so bright? And why does it move so fast?" His father sighed and shook his head. "Some things are not for us to know, my son." But Nikola didn't agree. He believed everything could be known, if only he looked hard enough. A few days later, Nikola decided to do his own experiment. He had read in a book that lightning was like fire, but much stronger. If that's true, he thought, then maybe I can make my own lightning. He found an old piece of metal wire and a small glass jar. He filled the jar with water and stuck the wire inside. Then he waited for the next storm. When the dark clouds finally rolled in, Nikola ran outside with his jar. The wind tugged at his clothes, and raindrops splashed on his face. He held the jar up to the sky, hoping to catch the lightning. Suddenly, a bright flash lit up the field. The sound came almost instantly. Crack! Nikola's heart jumped. He felt the ground shake beneath him. The jar slipped from his hands and shattered. He ran back to the house, out of breath and dripping wet. His mother met him at the door, her face pale. "Nikola, what were you doing out there?" she scolded. I wanted to catch the lightning," he stammered. His mother knelt down and held his face in her hands. "Oh, my brave boy," she said softly, "but you must be careful. Lightning is not something you can hold." That night, Nikola couldn't sleep. His heart was still pounding from the storm. He kept seeing the lightning in his mind, bright and wild. It felt like the lightning was calling to him, begging him to understand it. He sat up in bed and whispered to himself, "One day, I will. One day, I'll know all your secrets." As Nikola grew older, his fascination with lightning turned into a passion for electricity. He learned everything he could about it. He read books, asked questions, and watched nature closely. One summer afternoon, he was walking near the river with his friends. The sky was clear and blue, but Nikola's mind was full of storms. He bent down and picked up a smooth rock. "Do you see this rock?" he asked his friends. They nodded, curious. "This rock looks solid, but it's full of energy," Nikola said. "We just can't see it. Everything in the world has energy inside it. Lightning, rocks, even us." His friends laughed. "You're crazy, Nikola," one of them said. But Nikola didn't mind. He knew they didn't understand, and that was okay. One day, his teacher brought a strange device to class. It was a static electricity machine. When the teacher turned the handle, the machine made tiny sparks. Nikola's eyes widened. He leaned forward, watching the sparks jump from one metal ball to another. "That's like lightning," he said out loud. The other students giggled, but the teacher smiled. "You're right, Nikola," he said. "This is man-made lightning." Nikola couldn't stop thinking about the machine. He asked his teacher if he could borrow it for the weekend. The teacher hesitated, but finally agreed. At home, Nikola spent hours turning the handle, making sparks. He tried touching the metal balls and felt a small shock. It didn't hurt. It excited him. This is the same power as the lightning in the sky, he thought. But this I can control. From that day on, Nikola was obsessed with electricity. He believed it was the key to the future. What if we could use this power to help people? He wondered. What if we could light up entire cities without fire? What if we could send energy through the air, like the lightning does? The possibilities seemed endless. Nikola's experiments often got him into trouble. He once broke a lamp while trying to make his own light bulb. Another time, he accidentally started a small fire in the kitchen. "Nikola!" his mother shouted, rushing to put out the flames. "You'll burn the house down!" "I'm sorry, Mama," he said, his head hanging low. But inside, he felt a spark of excitement. Each mistake brought him closer to understanding. Years later, Nikola would look back on these moments as the beginning of his journey. The storms, the sparks, the experiments, all of them shaped his mind and filled him with wonder. The boy who loved lightning, was growing into a young man with big dreams. He wanted to bring the power of the storm into people's lives. He wanted to change the world. What lay ahead for Nikola Tesla? Would he uncover the secrets of electricity? Would his dreams become reality? The answers were waiting, just beyond the horizon. Chapter 3. The Bright Mind in School. Nikola Tesla loved to learn. From a young age, he was fascinated by numbers, patterns, and how things worked. When he started school, it was clear he was not like the other children. While most of his classmates struggled with math, Nikola solved problems easily. He didn't just solve them, he solved them in his head. One day, Nikola's teacher wrote a long equation on the board. It looked complicated, full of numbers and symbols. The other students stared at it, unsure what to do, but Nikola raised his hand right away. "Yes, Nikola?" the teacher said. "The answer is 27, Nikola replied confidently. The teacher frowned. "How did you figure that out so quickly?" "I just saw it," Nikola said, tapping his temple. "Here." The teacher didn't believe him. "Show me your work," he said. Nikola hesitated. He hadn't written anything down. He didn't need to. Everything was clear in his mind. But the teacher thought Nikola was trying to trick him. "You must follow the rules," the teacher said sharply. Nikola felt embarrassed. He wasn't trying to break the rules. He just thought differently. At home, Nikola told his parents about what had happened. His father was strict and believed in discipline. He told Nikola to listen to his teacher, but his mother understood him better. "You have a gift, Nikola," she said softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Don't be ashamed of it. Use it wisely." Her words stayed with him. Nikola's love for learning only grew. He read every book he could find. His favorites were about science and engineering. He loved to learn about machines, energy, and inventions. But Nikola didn't just read, he imagined. He had a special ability. He could picture objects in his mind as if they were real. When he thought about a machine, he didn't just see it. He could imagine it moving, working, and even improving. One afternoon, Nikola's teacher brought a mechanical model to class. It was a water pump made of gears and levers. The teacher explained how it worked, but Nikola wasn't satisfied. "Why not make the gears smaller?" Nikola asked. "It would pump faster that way." The teacher raised an eyebrow. "And how would you do that?" Nikola stood up and walked to the front of the class. "Like this," he said, sketching a new design on the board. The other students whispered and giggled. The teacher looked at Nikola for a long moment, then nodded. "You might be right, Nikola," he said. "But remember, you're still the student. I am the teacher." Nikola sat down, feeling both proud and frustrated. He didn't mean to challenge his teacher. He just wanted to make things better. Nicola's unusual habits sometimes made him stand out. He didn't like wasting time on small steps. Instead, he focused on the big picture. When the class had to solve problems, Nicola didn't write out long equations. He skipped straight to the answers. This annoyed some of his teachers. "You're too impatient, Nicola," one of them said. But Nicola wasn't impatient. He just thought faster than most people. In other ways, Nicola was like any other boy. He played games with his friends and loved telling stories. But there was one thing that set him apart: his willpower. If Nicola decided to do something, he wouldn't stop until it was done. Once, when he was sick, his father brought him a book of puzzles to cheer him up. One of the puzzles was incredibly hard. Nicola worked on it for hours, refusing to give up. "You need to rest," his mother told him gently. "I can't stop now," Nicola said, his eyes determined. "I'm so close." Finally, just before bedtime, he solved it. He showed the answer to his parents with a big smile. "I did it," he exclaimed. Nicola's strong will wasn't always a good thing. Sometimes it got him into trouble. One day, the class was studying geometry. The teacher asked a question about triangles. Nicola raised his hand to answer, but the teacher called on another student instead. The student gave the wrong answer. "That's not right!" Nicola blurted out. The teacher frowned. "Excuse me?" I know the correct answer," Nicola said quickly. "Then wait your turn, Nicola," the teacher said, "and show respect for others." Nicola felt his face grow hot. He hadn't meant to be rude. He just couldn't stay quiet when he knew the solution. Despite these moments, Nicola's teachers admired him. They saw his potential, even if his methods were unorthodox. One teacher told his father, "Your son is a genius, but he needs guidance." His father nodded. "I'll make sure he studies hard." But Nicola's mother had a different opinion. "Let him follow his curiosity," she said. "That's where his genius lies." One day, Nicola's school held a special competition. The students were tasked with building a small bridge out of wood. The bridge had to be strong enough to hold a heavy rock. The other students worked in groups, cutting and nailing pieces of wood together. But Nicola worked alone. He didn't use nails or glue. Instead, he used only small wooden beams and fit them together like a puzzle. When the teacher came to test Nicola's bridge, he was skeptical. "Are you sure this will hold?" "Yes," Nicola said confidently. The teacher placed the rock on the bridge. It held perfectly. The class clapped and cheered, amazed by Nicola's design. "How did you do that?" one student asked. "I imagined it first," Nicola said simply. At home, Nicola's family was proud of his success. But his father had other plans for him. He wanted Nicola to become a priest, like him. "You have a brilliant mind," his father said one evening. "You could use it to serve God." but I don't want to be a priest," Nikola replied. "I want to be an inventor." His father's face grew stern. "That is not a real profession, Nikola." Nikola's heart sank. He didn't want to disappoint his father, but he couldn't give up his dream. As Nikola grew older, his mind only grew sharper. He continued to excel in math and science. His teachers gave him harder problems, but he solved them all. One teacher told him, "You could do great things, Nikola. Don't let anyone stop you." Those words stayed with him. Even though school wasn't always easy, Nikola's bright mind shone through. His curiosity, determination, and unique way of thinking set him apart. He was more than just a good student. He was a thinker, a dreamer, and a problem solver. And deep inside, he knew his journey was just beginning. Chapter 4. A Dream of America. Nikola Tesla stood in the middle of a busy street in Budapest. Around him, people hurried to work, and the sounds of horse carriages and factory whistles filled the air. It was the late 1870s, and the city was alive with energy and ambition. Nikola was just a young man, but he already had big dreams. He wanted to build machines that would change the world. Machines powered by electricity, not steam or coal. Machines that could make life better for everyone. Tesla had come to Budapest to work for a telegraph company. His job was to help maintain the machines that sent messages over wires. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave him a chance to learn. One day, as he was repairing a piece of equipment, an idea struck him. He saw it in his mind as clearly as if it were real. "Why do we need all these wires?" he asked himself. "What if we could send electricity without them?" The thought filled him with excitement. He started sketching ideas in his notebook, barely able to keep up with his own mind. But not everyone shared his vision. At work, Tesla's boss often scolded him. "Stop dreaming, Tesla," he would say. "Just fix the machines. That's your job." Tesla would nod, but inside he felt frustrated. How could he stop dreaming when his ideas burned so brightly in his mind? After work, he walked along the Danube River, thinking about the future. He imagined cities lit up by electric lights, factories powered by clean energy, and a world where everyone, rich or poor, had access to this power. "I will make this happen," he whispered to himself. After a year in Budapest, Tesla got an opportunity to work in Paris for the Continental Edison Company. This was a turning point in his life. In Paris, he would work on some of the most advanced electrical systems of the time. Tesla arrived in the city with little more than his suitcase and his dreams. Paris was unlike anything he had ever seen. The streets were wide and lined with gas lamps. Factories hummed with activity. "This is the future," Tesla thought. In Paris, Tesla worked hard. His job was to improve electrical systems for factories and businesses. He often worked late into the night, studying blueprints and designing new machines. His colleagues noticed his talent. "Tesla is a genius," one of them said. "He can fix anything." But Tesla wasn't satisfied with fixing old systems. He wanted to create something new. One evening, after a long day of work, Tesla sat in his small apartment. He was tired, but his mind wouldn't rest. He picked up a pencil and began to draw. He sketched a motor powered by alternating current, or AC. Most people at the time used direct current, or DC, but Tesla believed AC was the future. It was more efficient and could travel longer distances. "This is it," he said, staring at the sketch. "This is the key to everything." But convincing others wasn't easy. Many of Tesla's ideas were too advanced for his time. When he showed his designs to his boss, the man just laughed. "This will never work, Tesla," he said. Tesla felt his face grow hot with frustration. "But it will," he replied. "I know it will." The boss shook his head. "Stick to what we know. Leave the dreaming to someone else." Tesla didn't give up. He kept working on his ideas in secret. Late at night, when the streets of Paris were quiet, he sat at his desk, sketching and calculating. He dreamed of a place where he could build freely. A place where innovation was celebrated. He dreamed of America. At the time, America was known as the land of opportunity. Inventors like Thomas Edison had become famous for their work. Tesla admired Edison, but believed he could go even further. One day, he made a decision. "I'm going to America," he told a friend. The friend raised an eyebrow. "Do you even have the money for a ticket?" Tesla smiled. "Not yet," he said, "but I will find a way." Tesla worked extra hours, saving every penny he could. He also wrote letters to engineers and inventors in America, hoping someone would notice his ideas. Finally, his persistence paid off. A company in New York offered him a job. They had heard about his talent and wanted him to work on improving their machines. With a ticket in hand, Tesla boarded a ship bound for America. As the ship sailed across the Atlantic, he stood on the deck, staring at the horizon. "This is my chance," he thought. "I will prove myself." When Tesla arrived in New York City in 1884, he was overwhelmed. The city was loud, crowded, and full of life. Skyscrapers rose high into the sky, and the streets were filled with people from all over the world. "This is the future," Tesla said to himself. But life in America wasn't easy. Tesla had only a few coins in his pocket and no place to stay. He worked hard, repairing machines and doing small jobs to make ends meet. Still, he never lost sight of his dream. One day, Tesla was introduced to Thomas Edison. Edison was already a famous inventor, known for creating the electric light bulb. Tesla admired him and hoped they could work together. Edison offered Tesla a job, saying, "Show me what you can do." Tesla worked tirelessly, designing new systems and improving old ones. Edison was impressed by his skill, but skeptical of his ideas about AC power. Direct current is the way forward, Edison insisted. Tesla disagreed, but for now, he kept quiet. He knew he needed to prove himself first. Despite the challenges, Tesla felt hopeful. He was in America, the land of endless possibilities. At night, as he walked through the streets of New York, he looked up at the electric lights shining in the windows. This is just the beginning, he thought. One day, my inventions will light up the whole world. Tesla's journey to America was the first step in a life filled with triumphs and struggles. He had left everything behind, his family, his home, and the life he knew, for a chance to follow his dream. Would he succeed? Would his ideas change the world as he hoped? The answers lay ahead, waiting to be discovered. Chapter 5. Meeting Mr. Edison. The year was 1884. Nikola Tesla stepped off the ship in New York City, his heart pounding with excitement and nerves. The city was enormous, loud, and full of people rushing in every direction. Tesla had never seen anything like it. In his pocket, he had only 4 cents, 4 coins, and yet he was full of hope. He also carried a few letters of recommendation. One of those letters was for the famous inventor Thomas Edison. This is my chance, Tesla thought. Tesla's first days in New York were difficult. He didn't know anyone, and the city was expensive. He stayed in a small, cheap room and often went hungry. But he didn't let this discourage him. Every morning, he dressed neatly, carried his letters, and searched for work. He walked for hours, stopping at factories and workshops. Finally, someone pointed him toward Edison's company. "They're always looking for smart engineers," the man said. Tesla's heart raced. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. Thomas Edison was already a household name. He had invented the electric light bulb and was considered a genius. His workshop was busy, full of machines, wires, and the smell of oil and metal. When Tesla arrived, he handed his letter to the secretary. The letter described him as a brilliant engineer with extraordinary talent. After a long wait, Tesla was called into Edison's office. Edison looked at the young man standing before him. Tesla was tall and thin, with bright, serious eyes. "So, you're an inventor?" Edison asked, his voice gruff but curious. "Yes, sir," Tesla replied. "I want to help improve your systems." Edison raised an eyebrow. "What makes you think you can improve my work?" Tesla smiled slightly. "Because I see things differently." Edison decided to give Tesla a chance. "You can start tomorrow," he said. "Show me what you can do." Tesla began working immediately. Edison's company used direct current, or DC, to power machines and lights. It was an older system, and Tesla believed it could be better. Tesla worked long hours, often staying late into the night. He repaired machines, designed new parts, and solved problems that others couldn't. Edison was impressed. "You're a hard worker, Tesla," he said. "Maybe you do have something special." But Tesla didn't stop at fixing old machines. He had bigger ideas. He believed alternating current, or AC, was the future of electricity. Unlike DC, which was expensive and inefficient, AC could travel long distances and power more devices. Tesla approached Edison with his ideas. "I can design a better system," he said, "one that uses AC power." Edison frowned. "AC power is dangerous," he said firmly. "DC is safer. It's the only way forward." "But AC is more efficient," Tesla argued. "It could light up entire cities." Edison shook his head. "Stick to what I've taught you, Tesla. Leave AC alone." Tesla felt frustrated, but didn't give up. He continued to work hard, hoping to prove himself. One day, Edison promised him a reward. "If you can improve my machines and save the company money, I'll give you $50,000, Edison said. Tesla took the challenge seriously. He spent weeks redesigning the machines, making them faster and more efficient. When he presented his work to Edison, the older man was impressed. "You've done excellent work," Edison said. Tesla smiled, waiting for the promised reward. But then Edison laughed. "Tesla, you don't understand American humor," he said. "That reward was a joke." Tesla's face fell. He felt betrayed. He had worked tirelessly, believing Edison's promise. Now he realized it had all been a lie. After that, Tesla decided to leave Edison's company. He couldn't continue working for someone who didn't respect his vision. The decision wasn't easy. Tesla had no money and no other job lined up. For a time, he struggled to survive. He even worked digging ditches to earn a few dollars. But Tesla didn't lose hope. As he dug trenches in the dirt, his mind stayed busy with ideas. He kept thinking about AC power and how it could change the world. Eventually, Tesla found new supporters. A group of investors heard about his work and decided to help him start his own company. They believed in his vision for AC power and gave him the resources to build his designs. Tesla set up a small laboratory in New York. It wasn't fancy, but it was enough. He worked day and night, building prototypes and testing his ideas. When he finally succeeded, the results were incredible. His AC motor was efficient, powerful, and safe. It was everything he had dreamed of. Meanwhile, Edison continued to promote DC power. He believed AC was dangerous and launched a campaign against it. This started what became known as the War of the Currents. Edison used dramatic tactics to scare people. He even demonstrated AC's dangers by electrocuting animals in public. "This is what AC will do," he warned. But Tesla knew the truth. His system wasn't dangerous if used correctly. It was the key to bringing electricity to everyone, even in the most remote places. As the rivalry grew, Tesla found an ally in George Westinghouse, a wealthy businessman and inventor. Westinghouse believed in Tesla's vision and helped fund his work. Together, they began building AC power systems across the country. Their efforts paid off. AC power began lighting up cities, powering factories, and reaching places DC could never go. Edison's DC system started to fade. People saw the benefits of AC and began to embrace it. Tesla's dream was becoming a reality, but the journey wasn't over. Tesla still faced challenges, from financial struggles to fierce competition. Yet, through it all, he remained focused on his mission. He had come to America with nothing but a dream. And now, that dream was changing the world. Tesla's time with Edison had been full of lessons. He learned about business, competition, and the challenges of innovation. But most importantly, he learned to trust himself. Meeting Edison was just the beginning of Tesla's incredible journey. What lay ahead for the man who dreamed of lighting up the world? The story was far from over. Before we begin Chapter 6, a quick note for our listeners. You're currently listening to this audiobook on Woo English. Remember, this content is specially made for Woo English listeners only. If you're hearing it on any other channel, it may be a violation of Woo English's rights. Please ensure you're tuned into the right source to fully enjoy and respect this audiobook journey. Now let's continue the story. Chapter 6: The War of the Currents. The year was 1888. Nikola Tesla stood at the center of a storm, but this was no ordinary storm. It was a war of ideas. The War of the Currents had begun, and it pitted Tesla's alternating current, AC, against Thomas Edison's direct current, DC. At stake was the future of electricity in America. Which system would power homes, factories, and entire cities? Edison's DC system was already in use in parts of New York City. It was reliable for short distances, but it had a major flaw. The wires could only carry electricity a few miles before losing power. This made DC expensive and inefficient for large areas. Tesla's AC system was different. It could travel over long distances without losing energy. It was cheaper, more powerful, and more efficient. Tesla believed AC was the future. But Edison didn't agree. Edison was a businessman as well as an inventor. He had invested heavily in DC power. If Tesla's AC system succeeded, Edison's company could lose everything. So, Edison fought back. He began a campaign to convince people that AC power was dangerous. He held public demonstrations to scare people. At these events, Edison used AC electricity to electrocute animals. He wanted to show that AC was deadly. "This is what will happen if you use Tesla's system," he warned. The crowds gasped. Some believed him. Others weren't so sure. Tesla was frustrated by Edison's tactics. "He's spreading fear instead of facts," Tesla said. But Tesla wasn't alone. A businessman named George Westinghouse believed in AC power. He admired Tesla's inventions and wanted to help bring them to the world. "Together, we can defeat Edison," Westinghouse told Tesla. Tesla agreed. He sold the rights to his AC patents to Westinghouse for $60,000. It was a small fortune at the time, but Tesla wasn't interested in money. He wanted to see his dream come true. The competition between AC and DC grew fiercer. Edison continued to attack AC, calling it the devil's electricity. Newspapers printed stories about the dangers of AC, warning people to stay away from it. Tesla and Westinghouse fought back by demonstrating the safety and efficiency of their system. They set up AC generators in towns and cities, showing how easily AC could power homes and streetlights. The results were incredible. For the first time, people could see the potential of electricity to transform their lives. The turning point in the war came in 1893. The city of Chicago was hosting the World's Columbian Exposition, a grand event celebrating progress and innovation. It was also called the World's Fair. The organizers wanted the fair to be powered by electricity, but they needed a reliable system. Both Edison and Tesla bid for the contract. Edison offered to light the fair using his DC system, but his price was high, too high. Tesla and Westinghouse offered a much lower bid. They promised to light the fair using AC power. Their bid won. The fair opened to millions of visitors. As night fell, Tesla and Westinghouse's system lit up the grounds with thousands of electric lights. The sight was breathtaking. People stood in awe, staring at the glowing buildings and pathways. Some had never seen electric light before. "This is the future," they whispered. Tesla's AC system had proven itself on a world stage. It was a triumph for him and Westinghouse. But the victory came at a cost. The War of the Currents had been expensive. Westinghouse had spent nearly all his money to compete with Edison. His company was on the brink of collapse. One day, Westinghouse called Tesla into his office. His face was pale and tired. "Nikola," he said, "I can't keep going like this. The company is in trouble. We need to cut costs." Tesla understood what Westinghouse was asking. He had signed a contract that gave him royalties for every use of his AC patents. If Tesla gave up those royalties, it would save the company. Without hesitation, Tesla tore up the contract. "I don't care about money," Tesla said. "I care about the work. Let's keep building the future." Tesla's decision saved Westinghouse's company, but it left Tesla with little to show for his inventions. While Edison grew richer, Tesla remained focused on his vision. Despite the challenges, AC power continued to spread. It became the standard for electricity in America and around the world. Tesla's dream of bringing energy to everyone was becoming a reality. Years later, people would look back on the War of the Currents as a turning point in history. It wasn't just a battle between two men. It was a battle between two ideas. Tesla's vision had won, but the journey had taken a toll on him. "Victory is sweet," Tesla once said, "but the cost is high." Even in the face of adversity, Tesla's determination never wavered. He had proven the superiority of his ideas. He had brought light to the world. But what would he do next? What new dreams awaited him? The story of Nikola Tesla was far from over. Chapter 7. The Wizard of New York. The year was 1894. Nikola Tesla was no longer an unknown inventor struggling to make his ideas heard. He was famous, admired, and even a little mysterious. People called him the Wizard of New York. At his laboratory on South Fifth Avenue, strange things were happening. Visitors came to see Tesla demonstrate his inventions, and they always left amazed. One day, Tesla invited a group of journalists to his lab. He wanted to show them the power of wireless energy. In the middle of the room, Tesla placed a glass bulb on a table. There were no wires connected to it. He turned to his audience and said, "Watch closely." Tesla flipped a switch, and the bulb began to glow brightly. The room filled with gasps and whispers. "There are no wires," someone exclaimed. Tesla smiled. "Electricity can travel through the air," he said. "One day, we will use this power to light up entire cities without wires." The journalists scribbled notes furiously. Tesla's demonstrations seemed like magic, but they were real science. Tesla also loved to show off his Tesla coil. This invention could create huge electric sparks that jumped into the air like lightning. The sparks made a crackling sound, and the light was so bright it lit up the entire room. During one demonstration, Tesla held a metal rod in his hand and let the sparks jump to it. Electricity ran through his body, but he didn't seem hurt. The audience gasped. Some people clapped, while others looked scared. "Do not worry," Tesla said calmly. "Electricity can be controlled." Tesla's fame grew. Newspapers called him a genius. Wealthy businessmen attended his demonstrations. Some people even thought he had supernatural powers. But Tesla was not interested in fame. He was focused on his work. He believed electricity could do more than power lights or machines. He dreamed of wireless communication, energy for everyone, and even ways to control the weather. Despite his success, Tesla's life wasn't easy. He worked long hours and rarely took breaks. His mind was always racing with new ideas, and he often forgot to eat or sleep. His habits were unusual too. Tesla hated jewelry, refused to shake hands, and avoided touching anything dirty. He counted his steps as he walked and made sure his meals were divided into exact amounts. Some people thought he was strange. Others admired his discipline. One night, a wealthy man visited Tesla's lab. It was J.P. Morgan, one of the most powerful bankers in America. Morgan was curious about Tesla's ideas and wanted to know more. Tesla explained his dream of building a giant tower that could send electricity and messages through the air. "With this tower," Tesla said, "we could send news, music, and pictures to people all over the world." Morgan raised an eyebrow. "And how much will this cost?" he asked. Tesla hesitated. He knew it would be expensive, but he believed it was worth it. Morgan finally agreed to fund the project, but only under one condition. "This must make money," he said. "Otherwise, it's useless to me." Tesla nodded. Though he wasn't interested in money, he cared about the science, the progress. Construction of the tower, called Wardenclyffe, began on Long Island. Tesla was excited. He believed this project would change the world, but problems soon appeared. The cost of building the tower grew higher and higher. Tesla's spending worried Morgan, who eventually stopped funding the project. Tesla begged for more money, but Morgan refused. "There's no profit in your dreams, Tesla," he said. Tesla was heartbroken. Without Morgan's support, he couldn't finish Wardenclyffe. His greatest project had failed. Even as Tesla's financial troubles grew, he continued to amaze the public with his ideas. One of his boldest dreams was to provide free energy for everyone. "Electricity is a gift of nature," Tesla said. "It should not be controlled by a few. It belongs to all of us." But this idea didn't sit well with wealthy businessmen who made money by selling electricity. They saw Tesla as a threat and stopped supporting him. As the years went on, Tesla's fame began to fade. New inventors appeared, and the world seemed to forget about the man who had brought them AC power. Tesla's laboratory was sold to pay his debts. He moved into a small hotel room and lived modestly. Still, he never stopped dreaming. He worked on new inventions, wrote papers, and continued to think about the future. One winter evening, Tesla was walking through a park in New York City. Snow covered the ground, and the air was cold. He stopped to feed the pigeons, something he did every day. Tesla loved birds, and they seemed to love him back. As he scattered seeds on the ground, he thought about his life. He had accomplished so much, but he also felt alone. "Will the world remember my work?" he wondered. Although Tesla's fame had faded, those who knew him still admired his brilliance. One journalist called him the man who invented the 20th century. Tesla didn't respond to praise. He remained focused on the future, always thinking about what was possible. Tesla's life was full of highs and lows. He had moments of great triumph, like lighting up the World's Fair, and moments of deep loss, like the failure of Wardenclyffe. But through it all, Tesla remained true to his vision. He was more than an inventor. He was a dreamer. Tesla's story wasn't just about electricity or machines. It was about the power of imagination, the courage to think differently, and the determination to never give up. Even as his fame faded, his legacy continued to grow. The Wizard of New York had left his mark on the world, and the future was brighter because of him. Chapter 8. A Vision for the Future. Nikola Tesla looked out over the quiet fields of Long Island. The land stretched far, dotted with trees and open skies. This place would be home to his greatest dream. He called it Wardenclyffe. Wardenclyffe Tower wasn't just a building. It was a bold idea. Tesla believed it could change the world. Tesla imagined a world where energy flowed freely. No wires, no limits. Everyone, rich or poor, could have electricity. He wanted to send power through the air, like invisible waves. "Why should we pay for energy?" he asked. "Nature gives it to us for free." His vision was beautiful, but it was also ambitious. Tesla shared his idea with J.P. Morgan, the powerful banker who had funded his past work. Tesla explained how Wardenclyffe Tower would work. "This tower will send electricity across the globe," Tesla said. "People will have power in their homes, their businesses, and even their cars, without wires." Morgan listened carefully. He was a practical man, not a dreamer like Tesla. "And how will this make money?" Morgan asked. Tesla hesitated. "It's not about money," he said. "It's about progress." Morgan frowned. He was not impressed by Tesla's answer. Despite his doubts, Morgan agreed to fund the project. He gave Tesla $150,000, a large sum at the time. Tesla began work immediately. The first step was building the tower. It would rise nearly 200 feet into the sky, with a giant metal dome at the top. Beneath the tower, Tesla planned a network of underground tunnels to carry electrical currents. Construction began in 1901. Workers cleared the land, dug foundations, and assembled the tower piece by piece. Tesla visited the site often. He watched the progress with pride and excitement. "This will be my greatest invention," he told his assistants. "The world will never be the same." But not everyone shared Tesla's enthusiasm. Many people doubted his ideas. Scientists said wireless electricity was impossible. Businessmen worried that free energy would destroy their profits. Newspapers called Tesla a dreamer. And sometimes worse. "Tesla's tower is a waste of money," one headline read. "A madman's fantasy." Tesla ignored the critics. He focused on his work. As the tower grew taller, the costs grew higher. Tesla needed more money to finish the project. He turned to Morgan again, hoping the banker would provide more funds. Morgan's response was cold. "You've already spent too much," he said. "I won't give you another dollar." Tesla was shocked. Without Morgan's support, he couldn't continue. Desperate for help, Tesla reached out to other investors. But many were afraid to compete with Morgan. No one wanted to risk angering the most powerful banker in America. Tesla tried to keep the project alive. He used his own money, even selling personal belongings to pay the workers. But it wasn't enough. In 1906, construction on Wardenclyffe Tower stopped. The site grew quiet, and the dream began to fade. Tesla was heartbroken. Wardenclyffe was supposed to be his gift to humanity. Now, it was just an unfinished tower, standing alone on the empty fields. One evening, Tesla visited the site. The wind whistled through the structure, and the sun set behind it, casting long shadows on the ground. "I failed," Tesla whispered to himself. "I couldn't make them see." Even as Wardenclyffe stood still, Tesla's mind kept moving. He refused to give up on his vision. He continued to write about wireless electricity. He gave lectures, hoping to inspire a new generation of inventors. "Progress is never easy," he said during one speech, "but we must keep dreaming." Tesla's vision for free energy frightened many people. It was too big, too radical. Companies wanted to control electricity, not give it away for free. But Tesla saw the world differently. He believed energy was a right, not a privilege. He once said, "The day will come when everyone will have power, as easily as we have air to breathe." Years passed, and Wardenclyffe Tower fell into ruin. The land was sold, and the structure was torn down. Tesla rarely spoke about the project after that. The pain was too great. But those who knew him saw that the dream had never truly left him. Even in failure, Tesla's ideas lived on. The concept of wireless energy inspired scientists for decades. Today, technologies like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and wireless charging owe their existence to Tesla's vision. He may not have finished Wardenclyffe, but his dream had planted a seed. Tesla's story is a reminder that big ideas often face resistance. People laughed at his vision. They called him mad. But he dared to dream anyway. He once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in their dreams." Tesla's life was full of challenges, but he never stopped looking ahead. His work on Wardenclyffe Tower was more than just an invention. It was a symbol of his belief in a better world. And though the tower is gone, Tesla's vision still lights the way for those bold enough to follow. Chapter 9. A Fall from Grace. By the early 1900s, Nikola Tesla's life had changed. Once celebrated as a genius, he now faced hardship. The world had moved on, and many of Tesla's ideas seemed too bold or too strange. His rivals grew stronger. Thomas Edison was still famous and wealthy. Other inventors gained support from powerful companies. But Tesla struggled. His fortunes began to decline. Tesla's greatest project, the Wardenclyffe Tower, had failed. He had poured all his energy and resources into it, but it was never completed. The tower was torn down, and the land was sold. Without Wardenclyffe, Tesla felt defeated. "I wanted to give the world something wonderful," he said to a friend, "but they did not understand." Tesla moved to a small hotel in New York City. He had no money, no laboratory, and no team to help him. He lived alone, surrounded by his notebooks. In his room, Tesla continued to invent. He wrote down ideas for new machines, devices, and systems. His mind was still sharp, filled with possibilities. But outside his room, the world was harsh. Tesla's financial troubles worsened. He had no steady income and struggled to pay his bills. Hotel managers grew frustrated with him. One day, a manager knocked on his door. "Mr. Tesla," he said, "you must pay your rent or leave." Tesla nodded slowly. He packed his belongings, mostly books and papers, and moved to another cheap hotel. This pattern repeated many times. Each time he fell behind on payments, Tesla had to move. Despite his struggles, Tesla tried to remain hopeful. He spent time in parks, feeding pigeons. He loved the birds and found peace in their company. One day, he saw an injured pigeon and brought it back to his room. He cared for the bird, feeding it and nursing it back to health. "She is my only friend," Tesla said. As the years went on, Tesla became more isolated. Many people forgot about his work. Some called him a mad scientist. They laughed at his ideas for wireless energy, weather control, and interplanetary communication. But Tesla didn't stop dreaming. "The future will prove me right," he said. "Time will show the value of my inventions." Tesla's loneliness grew. He had no family nearby, no close friends, and no support. He spent his days walking the streets of New York, lost in thought. Yet, even in his darkest moments, his mind remained full of light. One of Tesla's last great ideas was a machine he called the Death Ray. It wasn't a weapon, as some people feared, but a way to protect nations from war. Tesla believed it could create peace by making conflict impossible. He tried to sell the idea to governments, but no one believed him. "This could end all wars," Tesla said. But his words fell on deaf ears. Tesla's health began to decline. Years of overwork, stress, and poor living conditions had taken their toll. One winter, he slipped and fell in the street. He hurt his back badly and was in pain for months. But Tesla refused to give up. He continued to write, invent, and dream. In 1931, Tesla turned 75 years old. A journalist visited him in his hotel room to write a story about his life. The article described Tesla as a man who had changed the world, but received little in return. It ended with these words: "Nikola Tesla is the forgotten genius of our time." Tesla's story touched the public. People began to send him letters, thanking him for his contributions. One letter said, "Your work inspires us. The world owes you so much." Tesla smiled as he read the words. They gave him comfort even in his loneliness. In 1943, Nikola Tesla passed away in his hotel room. He was 86 years old. He left behind a suitcase filled with papers and drawings, his final inventions. At the time of his death, Tesla was nearly forgotten by the world. But his ideas would not stay hidden for long. Today, we remember Tesla as one of history's greatest inventors. His work on alternating current changed the way we live, His dreams of wireless energy, robotics, and renewable power inspire scientists and engineers even now. Tesla's fall from grace was not the end of his story. It was a chapter in the journey of a man who dared to dream beyond what others thought possible. Tesla's life was filled with both triumph and struggle. He experienced fame and loneliness, success and failure. But through it all, he never stopped believing in the future. As he once said, "The present is theirs, but the future is mine." Chapter 10. The Legacy of Invention. Nikola Tesla may have lived a life of struggle, but his ideas have never been forgotten. Today, we see his inventions everywhere. From the lights in our homes to the wireless technology in our hands, Tesla's vision shapes the modern world. His greatest contribution was alternating current, or AC power. This system brought electricity to homes, cities, and factories. Without it, our world would be dark. But AC power was only the beginning. Tesla dreamed of a world connected by energy. He imagined a global system where electricity could travel through the air. Energy should be free and available to all, he said. It is nature's gift. Although he didn't complete this dream in his lifetime, his ideas inspired generations of scientists and engineers. One of Tesla's most groundbreaking contributions was the radio. In 1893, he demonstrated how electromagnetic waves could send messages through the air. He showed an audience how energy could be transmitted wirelessly between two devices. At the time, few understood what this meant. But Tesla's work laid the foundation for radio communication. Years later, Guglielmo Marconi patented the radio. Many believed he was the inventor, but Tesla's patents showed otherwise. In 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court officially recognized Tesla's work as the basis for radio technology. Tesla's name was finally linked to the invention that changed communication forever. Tesla also imagined machines that could think. He wrote about automata, or robots, that could follow instructions. In 1898, he demonstrated a remote-controlled boat. Using a small box with switches, he made the boat move through the water without anyone touching it. The crowd was stunned. "Is it magic?" someone asked. "No," Tesla said, smiling. "It is science." Today, his work is considered one of the earliest examples of robotics. Tesla's influence extends to modern power systems as well. He developed ideas for renewable energy, including harnessing the power of the sun, wind, and water. He once said, "The energy of the earth is limitless. We must learn to use it wisely." In many ways, Tesla was ahead of his time. Tesla's inventions also included technologies for health and medicine. He created devices that used electrical currents to stimulate the body and improve healing. One of his most famous inventions was the Tesla coil, which is still used in science experiments and medical equipment today. Even in space exploration, Tesla's ideas are present. He believed energy could travel across great distances, even to other planets. In one experiment, he detected signals from space. He believed they might be from intelligent life. Although his theory was never proven, Tesla's belief in interplanetary communication inspired scientists to explore the universe. Tesla's imagination knew no limits. He dreamed of wireless phones, flying machines, and even systems to control the weather. At the time, these ideas sounded like science fiction. But today, many of them are real. Tesla once said, "The future will belong to those who dream." In his lifetime, Tesla held over 300 patents. Some were for inventions we use every day. Others were for ideas still waiting to be explored. Tesla's ability to see the future set him apart. But Tesla's legacy is not just about inventions. It's about the courage to think differently. He faced criticism, failure, and isolation. Yet, he never stopped believing in the power of his ideas. Tesla taught us that progress requires imagination. Many people now see Tesla as the true inventor of the modern age. His work on electricity, wireless communication, and robotics changed history. The company Tesla, Inc., named after him, continues to honor his vision for renewable energy and innovation. Today, scientists and engineers still study Tesla's notes. His ideas continue to inspire new discoveries. He once said, "The present is theirs, but the future is mine." Tesla was right. Nikola Tesla's life reminds us that great ideas often take time to be understood. He may not have lived to see all his dreams come true, but his work continues to light the way for the rest of us. He didn't just invent the future. He imagined it. Chapter 11. The Forgotten Genius. For many years after his death, Nikola Tesla's name faded into the shadows. The world moved forward, enjoying the benefits of his inventions, but forgetting the man behind them. Other inventors, like Thomas Edison and Guglielmo Marconi, were celebrated. Their names appeared in textbooks, and their contributions were praised. But Tesla was different. He had lived alone. He had died with little money and no family to carry on his legacy. It seemed as if the world had forgotten him. Decades passed. The 20th century brought incredible advancements: radio, robotics, and even space travel. Many of these achievements were built on Tesla's ideas, yet his name was rarely mentioned. In schools, students learned about Edison's light bulb and Marconi's radio. Few heard the name Tesla. It was as if his genius had been buried with him. But truth has a way of resurfacing. In the 1950s, scientists studying electricity and energy began to revisit Tesla's work. They found his patents and read his writings. What they discovered amazed them. Tesla had predicted technologies that didn't yet exist: wireless communication, renewable energy, and robotics. All of these were outlined in his notes. Slowly, people began to realize that Tesla had been far ahead of his time. In 1960, the scientific community gave Tesla a small but important honor. The General Conference on Weights and Measures named a unit of magnetic flux density after him. It became known as the Tesla. This recognition was a step toward restoring his place in history. As the years went on, more people became curious about Tesla. Authors wrote books about his life, and filmmakers created documentaries. One documentary called him the man who invented the 20th century. It argued that many of the technologies we use today exist because of Tesla's work. These stories captured the public's imagination. By the late 20th century, Tesla was no longer a forgotten genius. He was becoming a cultural icon. In the 1980s, the rock band Tesla named themselves after him. Their music introduced his story to a new generation. Then, in 2003, a company called Tesla, Inc. was founded. The company, which builds electric cars and works on renewable energy, chose its name to honor Nikola Tesla's vision for the future. This brought Tesla's name into millions of homes around the world. Today, Tesla is celebrated as one of history's greatest inventors. His ideas are seen as the foundation of modern technology. Schools now teach students about his contributions. Museums display his inventions, and cities have named streets and statues after him. In his home country of Serbia, there is a museum dedicated to his life and work. It holds his papers, patents, and even his personal belongings. One of Tesla's greatest recognitions came in 2012. The United States government placed his name in the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Finally, Tesla was being recognized as the visionary he always had been. But perhaps the greatest honor is how his work inspires people today. Scientists, engineers, and dreamers continue to look to Tesla for guidance. His belief in the power of imagination has become a beacon for innovation. Tesla's words, once dismissed, now carry deep meaning. The present is theirs, but the future is mine. It is hard to imagine what Tesla would think if he could see the world today. Wireless phones, satellite communication, electric cars, these were once his dreams. Now, they are a reality. The world he imagined is the world we live in. Tesla's story reminds us that true genius is not always understood in its time. He faced rejection, poverty, and loneliness, yet he never stopped believing in his ideas. His life shows us the importance of perseverance and the courage to think differently. For years, Tesla was overshadowed by his rivals, but history has finally caught up. Today, we remember him not just as an inventor, but as a visionary, a man who dreamed of a better world and worked tirelessly to create it. Tesla's legacy shines brightly. a testament to the power of imagination and innovation. The forgotten genius is forgotten no more. Chapter 12. Lighting Up the Future. Nikola Tesla's story is more than a tale of invention. It is a story of dreams, determination, and resilience. Today, his life continues to inspire people around the world. Tesla believed in the power of imagination. He once said, "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude." In his quiet moments, Tesla thought of ideas that no one had dared to dream before. He teaches us the value of creativity. Tesla's life was not easy. He faced rejection, competition, and financial ruin. Yet, he never gave up. Even when the world doubted him, Tesla believed in himself. This reminds us to keep going, even when the road ahead seems impossible. Think about the technologies we use every day: electricity, wireless communication, and robotics. These are Tesla's gifts to us. His vision for a better world has shaped the way we live. Tesla didn't just invent machines. He invented possibilities. One of Tesla's greatest lessons is the importance of perseverance. He failed many times. His projects were abandoned and his ideas were misunderstood. But each failure taught him something new. Tesla believed that failure was a stepping stone to success. "I have not failed," he said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Tesla's story also reminds us to think about the future. He dreamed of renewable energy, wireless power, and global communication. At the time, these ideas sounded impossible. But Tesla knew that innovation begins with a dream. Today, his vision inspires scientists to explore the unknown and push the limits of technology. In schools, Tesla's story is told to encourage young people to follow their passions. His life shows us that intelligence isn't enough. It takes hard work, courage, and imagination to change the world. Tesla once said, "The future will belong to those who work hard and dare to dream." The company Tesla Inc. continues to honor his legacy. It works to make renewable energy accessible to everyone, just as Tesla had envisioned. Every time we see an electric car or use wireless technology, we see Tesla's influence. But Tesla's story is about more than inventions. It's about the human spirit. He faced loneliness and poverty, but remained optimistic. He believed that the world could be better, and he dedicated his life to making it so. Tesla's resilience teaches us to never stop believing in our dreams, even when the world seems against us. Imagine Tesla standing in his laboratory, sparks flying around him as he tested his Tesla coil. His face lit with excitement, his mind racing with possibilities. That image captures who he was. A man who saw beyond the present and reached for the future. Today, Tesla's name is a symbol of innovation and hope. He has become a hero for inventors, dreamers, and anyone who dares to think differently. In the end, Tesla's greatest invention wasn't a machine. It was the idea that the future is limitless. He showed us that anything is possible if we have the courage to imagine it and the determination to make it real. Tesla's story teaches us to dream big, stay curious, never give up. These lessons light up the future, just as Tesla lit up the world with his inventions. Nikola Tesla is more than a historical figure. He is a reminder that greatness lies within all of us. His story will continue to inspire generations to come.